take a plane to another plane, to another plane, to another plane, bumping Baka not nice while I'm trapping in the rain.
You got a lot of stuff I'm a fan of.
That's good. That's good to
you
know.
Got a lot of stuff I'm a fan of.
You got to put some stuff on display, some good conversation pieces and whatnot.
Yeah,
this is Ezza Trips Balls. I'm here with LG, man, Lonsley G.
In the house,
It's an absolute pleasure to finally chop it up with the big homie. It's been a minute since I've been seeing you.
It has indeed, man. It has indeed.
So it's about time, man.
Woo! It has. It is about time. I really wish it couldn't be any better than now.
Yeah.
Right?
Now's the time.
Last year I could have ran into you. Last month I could have ran into you, but it couldn't have been a better time but now. So it's just obviously.
Yeah, that's the way life works.
Yeah.
Man. Everything seems to fall into place the way it needs to, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's very encouraging, especially lately. I think things are speeding up,
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. I really didn't know what I was honestly asking for when you put your head down and your thoughts go out to the universe.
Yes.
And then you wake up and all of a sudden the ripple effect starts to happen and
the
right people are coming to you.
Yes.
And are around you. So the blessings, the good positive energy, all of that, I didn't even realize I asked for that. And then bam.
That's incredible because I've been realizing more and more lately that it's never going to be exactly what you asked for. It's usually better.
Yes.
And often the road to get to that better place can make you feel like you're not getting anything you asked for. You know what I'm saying? But then you get to that better place. This is like, whoa, this is like what I asked for, but better. Like another version that I never would have thought of. You know what I'm saying? Like God, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, works in very mysterious ways, man.
Put the icing on the cake there, precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely.
So let's get into specifics then. You mentioned you got a lot on the go right now. I know the LG show is popping. You're working on it right now.
Yes, I am, and that literally sprung out of an idea we were trying to just really put on Niagara.
Yeah.
And as we were there, just formulating and cultivating and thinking and spinning and. What about the Lonsley G Show?
Yeah.
And I looked at someone like, me? Like, yeah, I may have the gift of gab and the charm and all that, but I've never been in front of a camera like that before.
Right.
But at the same time, I think it's just something natural for me.
Yeah.
So when it did happen, I kind of just woke up and was like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
I was about to go off to school for this.
Right.
And then I was just like, wham, here it is.
Wow, amazing. Well, when I saw even just that little teaser you guys did on the Instagram,
yes,
like you're a natural on camera, dude. I gotta be honest with you. Your interaction with the camera, just in that little tiny section, you could tell like this dude's got a relationship with the camera.
I appreciate it.
I've learned like if you love the camera, it loves you back.
Yes, yes.
So it's like people who are like nervous about the camera, you're just like staring into the soul of that motherfucker.
Absolutely,
and it works, bro.
Yes,
like you got the right presence.
So we did 2 shots of that. Yeah. We did 2 shots of that. And at first, John was like, man, it looked like you just stared through the soul of everyone. And I was like, that's really the idea.
Yeah.
That's really the idea.
No, and especially the show is your namesake. It's got your name right on it. So you want that connection to the audience. You know? So, yeah, absolutely. It's the Lonsley G Show. So break it down a little bit. Where did this idea come from? I know we could maybe take it back to Culture Shock.
Yes.
Just whatever.
Shout outs to Culture Shock.
Yeah. Shout out to Culture Shock.
Shout outs to my teammates.
Brilliant what you guys are doing.
Block and John.
Whatever order of events you think makes the most sense to talk about it. The LG show, Culture Shock, everything you're kind of working on right now. I leave it up to you, man.
Okay. So because I've been here cultivating in the falls, I moved here young. And, you go through your changes, your growth, your choices, ones you either make later, before, or now. So, and as I said, right, things kind of literally sped up with what I asked the universe and wham, here we are. Mm-hmm. So because there's a lot of things I think are missing from the Niagara area, we've come up with this idea to, hey, maybe we should just ask Niagara what's in it. What's in Niagara? Yeah.
What are you guys doing?
What's in Niagara? Yeah. So the Lonsley G came out, and my idea to that was to spin towards everything. You, mom and dad entrepreneur, small business.
There's a lot of that.
Let's hear what's going on in the streets. We don't even know what road not to take if construction's over there. you know, so there's little things popping in my head. But at the same time, I grew up in Niagara Falls. Right. I never left or had a reason to. Yeah. You know, and shout outs to anyone who still love where they're from and really are down for that community, their city, people in it. Yeah. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, you know, people have told me like, well, why don't you try moving out? And it's like, I feel like I'm not doing my mission if I'm not doing it here, because I feel like the potential that can be brought out here is what I'm here to do in a way. You know
my man.
Yeah. So, and I think that people like you and I connecting is like seeds being planted for the future, right?
Needed to happen.
Yeah, because there's that. Like, there's no reason why the Niagara area, like the Falls, St. Catharines, Welland, like the whole community shouldn't have a bigger sense of community.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy that there isn't, because it's a bunch of small towns really close together. Mm-hmm. We got Toronto up there, so like they got their whole own planet up there going on, right?
Their own constitutions going on over there.
Exactly. So we're like this little satellite cluster of small towns that can't seem to fucking, for whatever reason, show our culture.
Exactly.
We got a culture, and it's shocking. You know what I'm saying? And I love that you guys show that. Give me some of that. Because, you know, I have this conversation with people all the time. It's like, when you drive through some of the streets of St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, Welland, you see some shit.
Yes, you do.
That is so normal to us. But if somebody were to come from outside, they'd be like, what the fuck is that person doing?
That's ghetto as shit.
There's a culture shock. Yeah.
Yes.
There's like real culture shock.
There's a moment where you'll grab your chest and be like, did you see that a second ago?
Be like, oh yeah, I drove past that already this morning. You know what I'm saying? Or like, oh man, just some of the ratchet shit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's great. And I think that, but there is a, you know, there's a beauty in it. It's not all like, people like to talk shit. Oh, Niagara's such a shithole, this, that, or the other. It's like, but shitholes is where fucking art gets made.
That's where it starts.
That's where
That's where the ground is.
You know what I mean?
Right? Like, you're either humble from that or grounded from that, and you continue to cultivate, motivate, live, grow. Yeah. There's a saying I wanted to attach with what you said. Like, a saying goes, if you run from what you're supposed to do, I'm pretty sure you're not going to find it elsewhere. Right? So if it's here and you're supposed to be here, it don't make no sense you go to Montreal or London or Toronto. No. You're going to have to still get grounded there and start over.
Start right over again. And it's a way bigger, and you're going to have to assimilate with that culture to be able to understand it in a way that you can put yourself out there. You
Precisely.
Know what I mean? Like, I feel like we understand, having grown up here the way we did, we understand how to sort of get through these people a little bit and try to sort of bring everybody together and be able to see what we have here. It's like, you look at like New York City, everybody says now, oh, it's so like gentrified, and this like Brooklyn's all gentrified, and it's not that same beauty anymore.
Nope.
That when it was a shithole, it was maybe not a fun place to go to. You may be scared going down there. But look at all the fucking artists that came out of there.
Look at it now.
Look at, and you know what I mean? Yeah. And look what popped out of there. You know what I'm saying? So it's
Diamond
like
in
you
the
gotta
rough.
start from that kind of compost heap.
Oh, baby.
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
The best shit grows out of the compost heap, man. And yeah, so I'm glad that you guys are putting us on. So how did you end up connecting with John and the Block? And I know that you guys have kind of connected on the music tip before. But to really bring this whole culture shock thing together to where you ended up getting your own show and all
that. So sitting in the basement with Block, I believe Corey was with us at the time. So he was around the idea. He was around the idea happening. He just wasn't there when the actual culture shock happened. Right? So he was around the idea of, LG, what's going on over here? I said, come down to the lab. We're at the Blocks. We're just diamond in the rough stuff is happening. Yeah. I believe we're gold down there and something's happening. And, you know, in between it, he had to work and kind of be the father of three, husband. I was his also best man to his wedding. So after all that happened, John came in, introduced to me by Block. And there we are just sitting, and I'm just kind of telling him what I'm thinking about the city. And I really think these things need to happen. And he's just kind of sitting there like, dude, I like what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right. And I was like, really? Well, that's just me being me, natural. I just want to do that because there's some place I want to reach, and I'm realizing I can't do that by myself.
Absolutely.
So the best thing to do is, you know what I mean? Get your potatoes in the ground, reach out, cultivate, grow. right? So the growth was, let me just start speaking my mind, and maybe the right person will just find me and be like, dude, you're gold.
Yeah.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And there we were. And John was just astounded by what he was finding, what he was hearing. And then he decided to do something with our knowledge. We just didn't know he was going to pop off with, dude, here comes this culture shock. And I was like, I've got a lot of stuff in that direction, that lane to exactly give to y'all.
Yeah, when it really hit me because I had a comment, like basically Block hit me up. He's like, yo, I'm working on this guy about this magazine thing. Yeah. He's like, he wants to interview you about your new album and stuff. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like, I didn't know a lot of people try to pop shit up off the ground, and it's like, you don't really know what it's going to be, but it's like, I'll do it.
How authentic is it? Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, I don't get approached for interviews too often. So whatever it is, I'm fucking go for it.
Damn right.
It's
damn
good
right.
For me, it's good promo, whatever. So I ended up having a conversation with John, like, about this kind of stuff. And like, I was like, okay, I think this guy like might like understand, kind of have an idea that like, okay, there's something that needs to be documented going on here.
Exactly.
That's not being like properly documented. And then I was like, okay, cool. So, we did the interview, everything went great. And then, Block came and dropped me. And I'm like, this is nice, right? Like, I was looking through it. I'm like, okay, all right, nice. I go to the Instagram, and that's when it really hit me, is when I went to the Instagram.
Exactly.
So I was like, oh.
These guys ain't joking.
They're capturing
everything.
That Niagara vibe, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the gold.
I
call it gold. It's diamond in the rough. It's where have you been?
There's comedy gold. There's music gold. Bro, I'm telling you, man. Like, I've so many times I just like wish that like Vice or somebody could come through here with a serious team and just like document the shit that goes on.
And it happened, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh man. God, it was a blessing that day.
Oh my goodness, bro.
Such a great day that day, because, like I said, we ran into gold. Had to interview you on the spot. We got the vibe. You created the vibe. Your song is bonkers, by the way.
Thank you.
And like it's on the radio play. It's on my play. I don't give a fuck. I'm a renegade. So definitely did. And quick little post, and I was like, this is resonating nice. I really hope whatever you're doing.
Thank you, man.
Keep going.
Well, you know what? It's like, it's in that same spirit that you guys are working from. So that's why, especially for that video, I was like, I got to call out the Culture Shock crew to this.
Respect.
Because like, this is, for me, like that would, the Lemonade Renegades, ITM, Il Teo Manners, he was always on the kind of 905 hip hop scene.
Yes.
Sort of more of the old school.
Shout outs to ITM.
Yeah. Shouts out to ITM.
Yeah, you my boy.
Everybody, right? Like, the local scene was always very lyrical, boom bap kind of, which is great. I love that shit, right? But now with the kind of the new vibes that come out in hip hop, I really feel like this area, we really can bridge that gap, because we've got a lot of both. We've got a lot of young crowds, and we got some older heads, and like the art, the culture. It's very hip hop area, what I mean? Which is weird, because it used to be known for like rock and roll and shit, but it's become a very hip hop area. And I feel like me connecting with ITM on that track, and us doing that video with you guys there, it was just like a very 905 expression of art, of audio visual art. And it goes across eras, because ITM wasn't in my class, he was kind of the class ahead of me as far as on the Niagara scene.
That's right.
He would have been the class before me. So for us to be able to link up and do that, and call you guys out and just sort of make it a 905 spectacle.
Absolutely, man.
Which is what it needs to be, man. So we're just going to keep doing shit like that.
Keep doing it. You're going to be on the LG show. I would love for that to happen.
Absolutely.
Interview, big up what you're doing, expand what you're doing. That's really what the Lonsley G Show putting on for, right? Mm-hmm. Just we're putting on for the local. We're putting on for the hip-hop area. We're putting on for, anything that's going on in your neighborhood. You want to know what entrepreneurial business is happening, mom and dads that are working in the street, restaurants. And that's really what we've just motivated to do. Get up, go, get up, go, get up, go. And even running into ITM, because ITM is someone I used to work with back 2015, 2014, right? Soundcheck, Run Inc., me, Corey, Tyler Pink, Spade, right? So I've known of him, and keep running into him and keep running into him and keep running into him. And now I'm just like, I'm running into this guy for a reason.
Yeah.
I'm running into this guy for a reason. Too many times have I watched that diamond just walk past, and I'm like, yo, ITM, what are you doing? Right?
And even turntablism is such a rare art, and he was on the last episode, and we discussed that. And it's like for, let's say ITM, we could probably even give him more credit than this, but let's say conservatively, he's probably one of the best 25 turntablists in the country.
Facts.
DJ K Flip, I'm sure you could also put in that group.
Facts.
And both of them are here.
Yes.
And nobody knows. Nobody,
see?
You know what I'm saying?
Diamond in the rough.
Diamond in the fucking rough. Yeah. A whole lot of diamonds. The talent that we've seen come through here over the years. Like, I don't know if you ever knew Ace Moore. He is an amazing lyricist. Yeah, yes. He was on the scene for some of them running shows and stuff. We've just had some amazing talent through here that just never has gotten that exposure.
Yes.
So I'm so happy that you and John and Block are coming through and seeing what the potential could be and how it could be brought out to the people.
What started it? Man, I went to school with Deadmau5.
Really?
Right?
Wow.
So when Deadmau5
shout out
Deadmau5, and it's no disrespect at all. Take it in positive. When Deadmau5 said, shout outs to Toronto. Toronto's my family, my home.
Yeah.
I was like, damn,
that's
Dad.
Painful, man.
That was painful. I went to school with you. And it does make sense. I wasn't mad at the statement because who didn't put you on in the Falls? Who didn't put you on in Fort Erie?
Exactly.
So I was like, he wasn't wrong for what he said. He wasn't wrong for what he said. So I need to do something. Yeah.
Like, I've had this conversation. It's like Murder Beats. Basically Toronto is like where he's known to be from. He's from Fort Erie.
And I know a couple of cats who are like, I went to school with the guy.
But it's like, I can't blame him because I was when Murder Beats first got on Amigos mixtape, all I ever heard anybody do here was talk shit. All they do is talk. Oh yeah, he thinks he's so big now because he's on Migos. Fucking J Mac taught him how to make beats. Blah blah blah. Everybody, it's local shit talk.
But that's precisely what it means. He is big time now.
Exactly. And now the motherfucker pops the fuck off, and it's like, of course he's gonna say he's from Toronto because who fucked with him? The Toronto
Good for you,
rappers,
bro.
the Toronto. Yeah, exactly. So shouts out, all love Murder Beats and Deadmau5.
Yes, sir.
But it's what makes us realize that we gotta do it we gotta do it ourselves.
We gotta get local some love.
Yeah.
We got to get local some love.
We just got to transform the scene into a loving scene because dudes like Murder Beats and Deadmau5, like, they're not like extravagant personality out there kind of guys. So guys like that, if they were just, dudes who were sort of loners, in their basement making beats, shy, timid, whatever, not saying they were, but imagine a scenario where a guy is like that and tries to come out onto the scene and show people his stuff. And all he gets is all this fucking hate and all this negativity and all this like, well, I'm the shit, you're new, so you can't talk down to me and all this hierarchy. And that person's just going to say, well, fuck all you guys. I'm going on the internet. And I'm going to shop some beats to fucking Migos or whatever, right? So it's like, why would you treat anybody with negativity towards their craft when there's a whole fucking internet out there? They don't need me. You know what I mean?
That push and that very scenario will either do one or two things. When you believe in yourself, you're going to take it. You're going to take off.
That's fuel.
It's fuel.
Yeah.
You're going to take off. If somehow that hope or that will is not strengthening within you, then you may take a couple of years to bounce back. But for the people who didn't bounce, they bounced right where they needed to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Straight to the sky.
Yep. And I think it's there's a long learning curve that we've had as a scene here, where those of us who've stuck with it for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years.
Yep.
We can look toward these people that blow up from big cities and be like, well, this motherfucker was rapping for 2 years and now he's a millionaire, and compare ourselves to that.
Yes.
And be like, well, I ain't shit or whatever because I only have a few hundred followers. And then it's like, but wait a minute, I'm from fucking Niagara. We have nothing here to work with. Like, we are literally doing it completely organically on our own for ourselves.
Yes.
So any fucking views or whatever we get is a success because we're doing it from a place where there is no buzz. There is no scene. We're creating whatever buzz exists.
Exactly.
So it's like, as discouraging as it can be sometimes, I think we all need to be proud of ourselves that we've stuck through that.
Yes. Don't forget the steps you've made. Someone said it to me, and it's becoming more clear now. Give yourself the opportunity to be thankful for what you're doing. Give yourself the opportunity to big up yourself because you knew you know, I know, and whoever else, you come out of a place of comfort to be comfortable, right? When you jump into hip hop, I don't know what lane you jump into, but you definitely jump into something that you're just trying to describe yourself, show who you are, your skills, your marksmanship, right? So, man, always just do what it is you're thinking. Do what it is you're thinking.
That's so true. Because, you know, and you got to do it for the people who can't do, you know, because like I just like, there's no shortage of talent in this world. You know what I mean? Like, and the older I get, the more I realize that. Like, I used to think having a talent was such a rare thing. Like, oh, I was gifted with this talent. But it's like, there is no shortage of talent. No. There are talented motherfuckers that can do incredible shit that nobody will ever see them do.
And I know one of them, you know, shout outs to Corey Hayes. The guy's a busy guy.
Yeah.
But when you sit down with him and seeing that he can do a web design, guy can graphic design, guy can put together a YouTube channel real quick.
Yeah.
Guy can put together an album by himself, doesn't really need any type of service or anyone to, hey, let me promote this.
Yeah.
Let's go over here and take some pictures. He is incredible in that way. And I'm just like, man, you need to come out.
Exactly, man.
I'm gonna bring your ass out because you're a diamond in the rough. You don't meet very many artists like that who can literally, you know, shout outs to Kanye the game.
Yeah,
right? Who can literally Kanye the game, make his own whatever and doesn't need a single person's help. So rare individual, right? And you run into them. You run into them. Rare individual yourself.
Man,
so
likewise.
Man, that's what it's about.
Yeah, and you know, and like it's people who have the bigger personalities, like yourself, like me, who are willing to put ourselves out there.
Yes.
Like a Kanye. Shouts out Kanye, my hero. But he also has all the talent that nobody else really has. But that's a whole other case.
He's on another chef menu.
yeah. I mean, we can get into that later if you want, but people like us who are willing to, who have that whatever amount of talent, you know what I mean? Because like there are people that are shy as fuck that are probably have more talent in their pinky toe than I have in my whole body. But if I am willing to put what I have out there,
yes,
and you are willing to put what you have out there, and Block and whoever else, we can then take those people who we think are even more talented than us, but maybe don't necessarily have the personality or the drive to put them, so then we could go, okay, now look at these motherfuckers.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's the whole thing, and that's why I think it's like it's a noble. Not to fucking make this a whole big stroking each other off, but it's a noble thing that we're doing because it's a sacrifice, because we are sacrificing our, like, people could just hate on this. Like, people could look at this video and just hit the dislike.
What are these guys even doing?
Destroy the whole reputation we have, right? So our putting ourselves out there the way we do, we are sacrificing potentially our reputations to try to help those even more talented people get themselves out there, so that they don't have to face the hate and the dislikes and the bullshit, because they might not be able to handle it as good as someone like us can. Not saying I can handle it, because we all it
kind of slides off my shoulder. I don't really get into too much commotions. I am someone who's more direct. I do like to talk face to face, right? But at the same time, all of this just happened out of nowhere. And while it happened out of nowhere, and I thought about it for the decade and a half, right? I run into artist Johnny Armani, and there he is, a Buffalo artist in Canada. Down the street from me as well, you know. Can't go back home because he ended up having a kid here. Not because of that, but life happened here for him. Right? And when I hear a little bit of his story, I'm just like, this is amazing, because we do have a skeptical theory that maybe the streets are unsafe. And someone from Buffalo who now lives here is saying it's quite safe.
Really?
And I was like, well, let's keep that going then. Well, let's keep that going, because I always thought it was safe, and I'm from a neighborhood that wasn't so safe, but for some reason I was able to still be in the streets as a kid.
It's wild, dude.
Right?
I've been thinking about that lately as well, because I was going through some of my old neighborhood, and like I was like, dude, like, other people would come here and not let their kids run around, yet I've always been able to run around, and like I've always been able to get drunk downtown and walk my ass home for an hour and not get robbed and not get anything through some sketchy ass motherfucking streets too. You know, like, and so exactly what you just say. It's like, it's so true. Like, I have never felt unsafe here. And I try to say that to people as well. Like, as sketchy and as ghetto and as hood and whatever it is that you want to call it, that the shit that you see around here is, I've never felt like I can't walk around here like it's my own home. Like, that's another thing I love about this place.
Yes.
Man. It's like, it's got some of the big city culture, but not a lot of the big city problems.
Precise.
You don't got to worry about getting stabbed on your way to work or nothing like that. At least I fucking hope not. Not yet, anyway. There does seem
maybe we haven't witnessed it, right? So
there does seem to be a bit of a downhill. But that's why we got to rise up.
Definitely. You know, definitely.
While you know, there's fucking drug epidemics and all this shit, like we were saying at the beginning, like, these are the situations that art thrives in, art rises up out of. You know? Yeah. And if we can all continue to support each other, there's no reason it can't work, you know? We've talked about it on this show a million times, but it's like, you look at Atlanta, right? They might have been intimidated. America's a different situation than Canada, of course, but, you know, look at Atlanta years ago. They would have been like, oh, you can't be a rapper unless you're from New York City. All the big rappers are from New York City. Fucking Nas, Jay-Z, fucking 50 Cent, DMX, Mace. You know, they're all from New York. P. Diddy, or they're from L.A., Dr. J. You got to be New York or L.A. And they're like, no, well, hold on a second. And other cities in the South did this too. Houston,
that's the acceptance of the street, though.
Exactly.
That's the street. That's the street creating their global bubble. Saying if you're not from this area, then you can't rap, or your rap is unheard of.
Yeah, or it's never going to be mainstream, or it's never going to be known or make any money or whatever.
It was my homie Nate that gave me this question, and he asked it to me about 3 or 4 years ago, and I remember it so fresh. He was like, man, why is the street so hard on new artists? And I was like, it took me the longest time. And all of a sudden it popped into my head and I realized it. Oh, that's it. So the way your parents are raised, if they taught you something, they teach you something based on how they know.
Right.
Right. So when the street came up with rap, it was all street rap.
Right.
So any rap coming out of that avenue, and it's not street, the street's like, sorry, I can't accept that.
Yeah, this is not what we know. This is not what we've accepted.
Boom. So that's what the question he asked me, and I couldn't answer it at the time, but it made more sense now.
Right.
It all started in the street. If it all started in the basement or started on the corner like Biggie did, right? There you go, another scene. It's in the street. Yeah. So the majority of the time I hear music, I don't hear the street in it.
That's very interesting.
I don't hear the street in it. So there's a little disconnection for me there. Right. And you've got so many other artists that even I love. And I'll speak of one who's in the top 5, right? M is up there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times in his younger genre of music, I still couldn't connect with him.
Right.
But he did say some brilliant things.
Yes.
I couldn't connect with him, but he said some brilliant things. And there it was. That was his street.
And now look how many other artists followed that street after.
Bam.
Right. You know, incredible, right? And you know, probably he's a great example. Probably his whole time coming up, he was probably told, nope, that's never going to work. Nope, that's not what rap's supposed to sound like. Nope, you got the wrong accent.
He's got chainsaws, jumping back doors or backyard fences.
But it's like he made it his motherfucking thing.
There you go.
He opened the door for so many other artists that would not exist if it wasn't for Eminem.
Shout outs to M.
Yeah, shout out to M.
Yeah.
You know, he inspired all races, cultures, and creeds. You know, like, he was pretty universal in his heyday. You know, say what you want about his later stuff.
Straight up.
I have my opinions on it, which I could do probably a whole podcast on. You know, obviously I came up with M.
Yep.
But yeah, he kind of later in life, he kind of broke my heart a few times. That's a lot of his musical choices, but it is what it is.
But that's the beauty of it, right? That's the beauty of it. As we grow now, we start to see, man, something in life does change your bars. Something in life does change your bars. And all of a sudden,
something about getting rich.
Woo!
You know what I'm saying?
And the lane that looks straight is now left.
It's like, hold on a second. So there's a real risky lane where I could potentially lose all of this, or I just stay over here and I'm good. There's gonna be some people who get pissed off that I've sold out or whatever. But ultimately, I'm not going to lose my house, my kids, my car. You know what I'm saying?
Never.
I'm not going to lose all this shit that I've fucking amassed here by accident.
There you
know
go.
what I mean? So, yeah, it's interesting. Well, he's obviously the most extreme of cases, right? I don't think anybody, as much as he got his dream, yes. I don't think anybody wants his life.
No.
You know, maybe, yeah, he wouldn't be my first pick.
No.
For sure.
No.
You know, like, that's too much. That's a little bit too much.
What I identified was, yeah, it's a little too much. And I identified the hard work that had to go into still, you know, him bringing out his skills like that. A wordsmith. He's definitely a wordsmith.
Yeah, he is the best wordsmith.
Yeah, he's a wordsmith.
I will give him that. Like, just that rhyming words and doing clever shit with the English language. I don't think there's anybody better than him. Musically, there's a lot of people better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's where the conversation splits. Because a lot of people can't separate, like, who's the best rapper from who makes the best rap music. There's a big fucking difference.
Fuck yeah.
Like, Eminem is a better rapper technically than Kanye. Kanye makes way better music than Eminem does. Like, as far as creating
facts on top of facts. Okay.
You know? And you could make a million comparisons like that. To me, if you want to say the best of both worlds, like who is the best at rapping and makes the best rap music, you could put a few people in that conversation, right? You could put Kenny in that conversation.
All right.
You could put Jay-Z in that conversation.
Definitely.
You could arguably put Nas in that conversation, though he hasn't been totally consistent.
Relevant.
And he hasn't really stayed relevant. That's true as well. But as far as like being an excellent rapper and making excellent music, he's definitely in there. M in his earlier years, you'd put in there for sure.
Slaughterhouse.
Yeah. See, that's another thing that Eminem broke. His motherfucking Slaughterhouse.
Right.
Because the first Slaughterhouse album they did by themselves was actually great.
Yes.
They didn't need to change up that formula at all. Then they get signed to Shady Records. And
keep that recipe coming.
Totally switch up the formula.
Gone.
And just make an Eminem album, but with four rappers instead of one. Exactly. I mean, it basically was just an Eminem album.
To tie this over, really, like, what does this have to do with local? Think about it. Each and every one of us is rapping because somebody inspired us.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely. And you know, I always love like, the first time I chop it up with somebody who's into rap shit, like, to talk about some old, like, okay, we were listening to the same shit for a while leading up to this conversation.
Absolutely.
It was always kind of fun to be like, oh, yeah. One person who I think is handled in, like, amazing, like, ridiculous amounts of fame and money with is 50.
Yep.
You know, that's somebody who it's like, he went like, 10, 11 times platinum with his first album. It doesn't seem to have affected him as a person too much. He's the same motherfucker he was on day one.
His fame chucked him out the front door like Uncle Phil did Jazzy Jeff. And out comes money.
Yeah, exactly. Now, his music did take a downturn for sure. Like, he never did anything as good as the first couple albums.
Yes.
But him as a human and him as a businessman, and like, he went bankrupt a couple times, whatever. He's one of those guys, you know what I mean? He invests in shit that fails and he invests in shit that succeeds.
Yes.
When he hit that vitamin water success, like 50, you never heard a good 50 song.
Revitalized 50. You're almost 75 now, bro.
75 cents now. Oh, man. But you know, so the game is interesting. So it's like we're coming up into like late. I don't think any music genre has ever stayed at the top as long as rap, hip hop has.
Yes.
To be able to evolve like so much and still stay hip hop.
And the way it just goes, because it just absorbs everything.
Yes.
It absorbs everything.
It's crazy how it does that.
And the one thing I will add to that,
and everything absorbs it.
And everything absorbs it. Right? So as me, a person, aka the artist, LG, just trying to even come into my own lane. Mm-hmm. The best thing rap and hip hop has ever done for me as a person now, I can create my own lane. Yes, bro. Thank you, man. Yeah. Because, man, like the years of trying to figure out what lane do I fit in. Create your own lane, bro. And you got that. The conclusion is nobody can do me like I can do me. Facts. Nobody can do LG like LG does LG. Facts. And that is what that is what I realized what hip hop is. It's a self-empowerment tool. You are able to create your most confident
self, your most confident individual through this fucking art form.
Go in.
There's no other art form that allows you to create yourself as an individual in such a way. Like there's
so many artists has come through the grapevines now, and so many of them have said it, you know, you take something or you find nothing and you make something out of it, right?
And it's like, and a lot of people have succeeded by going into other people's lanes or whatever, but it's always some flash in the pan success. It's always like, boom, big hit record because it sounds like that motherfucker song.
Yes.
Now you've got a song that sounds like that song, so you've got a fucking hit too.
There you go.
But once that sound is no longer popular, what the fuck are you doing? You're going to copy somebody else's sound now? It's like the only way that you can stay good for a long time is just by always cultivating the art from what's going on with you.
Yes.
You know? And that's another thing that, again, in his heyday, Eminem was a genius for doing that. Because he realized all he had to rap about was himself. That anybody was interested in hearing.
There you go.
I mean? People don't want to hear about like the big picture of the struggle of the white man in the trailer park trying to be a rapper. Like it's like fuck off, man, you know. But like when
we all be struggling,
right? Exactly.
Yeah.
But when he tells you about his wife's name, you know, his mom's name, you know, his daughter's name, you know, you know everything that's going on in that motherfucker's life.
The whole locked in a cage,
man.
Fed pills, and you're just kind of like, I have nothing compared to you.
Yeah, you got his whole story. Yeah. Same with Kanye. Like, he famously said, "I don't know, I just rap about me," and it's like that's so true. Like, that's how you take off to that next fucking level. Is like just being able to cultivate your life into the art form. Jay-Z is another genius at having done that, man. From the progression in his like, talk about somebody handling getting rich and famous well. Like, that motherfucker's music, to me, since he retired and came back, has just gotten better and better and better and better.
Wearing the 4 or 5 and ain't to play games with you.
It's to aim at you, you know? So, like, that motherfucker continues to just put himself into his art and make it better and better. Now he basically has pioneered grown man rap.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Big brothered it majorly.
And what I love is, like, I was never a big Jay-Z fan coming up, but now I fucking love him. I love everything he does now, like, musically, man. Because he's, like, to me, that grown man shit is what he was always meant to do. Like, he was always meant to show motherfuckers how to be classy and graceful as a billionaire off rap.
Rakim,
that's how it's done.
Rakim said it, which is an artist in my top 5. Rakim is like one of the founders of like literally changing the art of what hip hop and rap is.
Rhyme schemes, and he was the one, man. Like,
and one of his bars was, "There's no age in the booth." There is no age in the booth.
I love that.
And he hit me with that, and that spiritually lifted me, because no longer do I feel like I'm a 30-something guy trying to rap. I just feel like I have something unique.
Yeah,
I have a lane that I can create, and I should never give up on me to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And to me, like, if you like, and again, it took me years to realize this, but it's like, if you're not doing what you just described, then to me, you're not really doing hip hop. You're like imitating it. You know, like, to me, the real art of hip hop is the art of creating your lane.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? It's not just the music. It's about the whole like aura. You know, it's like, I don't want to use the word brand, because brand is a kind of a corny word and kind of a businessy word, and I don't want to take the soul out of the conversation.
That's true.
But it's almost about creating your like brand, but it's not your brand, it's you. It's like
it's 100% you.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, this is me.
Yeah.
This is me. This is not just me. The body,
straight to the socks, to the toenails, bro.
The sounds, the visuals, everything, right? Is like an outward expression of self. And if you're not like finding that, then you're just kind of copying whatever sound you're trying to copy.
There you go.
Which I did for years. And it's like, there's no shame in that, because you kind of have to go through that to eventually realize, like, hold on a minute. Do I want to blow the fuck up because I could make a song that sounds like Tyga? You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, I want to blow the fuck up off what the fuck I do.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And it's like, and if I don't, then whatever. Then it wasn't meant to fucking happen. But something will come of it. You know, someone's going to listen to this conversation. And
the true belief. Yeah, you know? The true belief, man. You got to believe in you.
You know, so even if that's the reason, then that's fine. You know, I'm just got to keep following that calling, man.
Have like-minded homies around you, you know, ones that are never scared to say, bro, You're the key wherever you go. I told someone that, and I hope it motivated them still to this day. You're the key wherever you go, right?
That's huge.
You're the drive. You're the tires. You're the ignition. You're the motor. You're the key.
Yeah.
Right? So as long as you keep feeling and thinking that way, those emotions now will wake up in you. And you'll just want to bless yourself with just putting out good music. Your music.
Yeah. And it's difficult, man. And it, you know, it's so simply explained, but it's so like to actually go through it, it takes a long time and it takes a lot of suffering to come to
Facts.
You know what I mean? It's like you gotta like you almost torture yourself on the way.
Blood, sweat, and tears gotta happen.
Yeah.
Blood, sweat, and tears happen, and then you reach that diamond in the rough stage.
Yeah,
like,
man.
Ooh, I'm here.
And you know the crazy thing is when I was just getting started, if I heard somebody say all this, I'd be like, nah, I ain't gotta suffer for it. I'm good. I got this shit, right?
You don't know me.
No, I wasn't listening. Because it's like now that I've gone through all that, it's like, man, if I would have blown the fuck up 10 years ago, I would have been broke already. I would have been probably on drugs. I would have been fucked up my life. I would have like kids with different girls. Like I would have totally blown it.
Understand.
I would have blew it, man. So it's like I am just so thankful. Like as much suffering as it's brought me and as much struggle that it's brought me, that I put my fucking heart and soul into something that hasn't quite taken off. It's like every day I still have to step back and be like, yo,
what am I missing?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you feel that and it's like, but I wasn't supposed to take off yet. You know what I mean? Like if it would have happened back then, I wouldn't be who I am now.
Yes.
And this who I am now is who I want to put out there.
There you go.
Not who I was.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm thankful every day that it hasn't blown up yet.
Yeah,
because
man.
I know when it does, I'm going to be the version of myself that's supposed to be put out there.
That's it.
You know?
That's the not giving up on yourself.
Exactly.
That's the taking the time to make sure you know who you're going to be.
And it's hard, man. It's hard to keep that focus with so much shit gets thrown at you.
Yeah,
you know?
we have a lot of distractions.
Tons.
A lot of distractions.
Non-stop, man.
And in between it, you still just got to just roll through. Rise up, roll through and rise up. Find you. Find the heart of gold that's in you. Find every reason that makes you want to be you, continue to be you, and your music being you authentically, organically. Man, I'm really just on that. Just do what you got to do for yourself. And if what you got to do for yourself is, you know, find more like-minded people so that energy is always surrounding you, then do that, because collectively, that's where you start to level up. You level up with relationships. You level up with the homies. You level up in your music with the cultivation that's around you.
Facts, man. Yeah. Wisdom. This is a great conversation, man. I'm really happy that we're doing this.
Absolutely.
You know, these types of motivational, like, you know, a lot of people are, you know, some people are sick of hearing it or whatever, but because I try to get into this on my show a lot, to be honest. So I thank you for being on that wave. Bro.
Good, buddy.
It helps, because I really just want to motivate people. And I feel like even if one or two people hears it and takes something from it, then I don't give a fuck about the other ones who are sick of hearing it, you know?
Got a statement that I made earlier this week or month. You know, I was just chopping it up with Stoddy, and I said, you know what, Stoddy? I'm not going to wait for the next man to do right by me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do what's right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, you did that? Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to do.
Yeah, man.
Right?
That's
just
exactly it. And I like, you know, people give me shit for not promoting enough, but it's like, I don't even like saying what I'm doing anymore. Like, I just like to do it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But it's like I guess part of the game is being like, hey, like I'm doing this, check me out or whatever. Like, keep an eye out for this. And it's like, man, but I've been through this for so long that I've seen so many people announce shit that doesn't come out.
Yep.
Say, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and it never happens. Say, hey, look at me. You know, and it's like, I never want to be that guy. I just want to do. And it's like, I wish that it was easier for people to, I don't know what it is with the algorithms or what, but like, why is it that people that just do shit without posting about it nonstop, the algorithms don't seem to lead that way, you know? And it's like, I'm putting out finished products, you know? Like,
exactly.
Why can't the algorithm steer towards finished products somehow instead of all this like, hey, check me out, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Now, some of that is fine, you know? And that's why I like stories and stuff, because it stays up for only 24 hours. You can update people live, whatever. But it's like, if I got a whole news feed full of announced projects that haven't come out yet,
a whole new catalog.
It's like, I don't really want people seeing that, because if it doesn't drop, I'm going to look ridiculous, right? It's like, I like to show people the finished product, you know, and it's like I was saying to...
That's a really great quality, yeah.
Yeah, and I was saying to ITM in our last episode, like, if you look at it like an iceberg, like, the tip of the iceberg should be what you're giving to the world.
Yes.
You know? Everything underneath is like the work that you've done, the struggle you've had
to get to the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To be able to show off that little glimmer of the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like you got to put in a lot of work to get to be able to even put that out there. You know, and it's like nowadays with social media, you got a lot of people showing like the bottom of the iceberg. You know what I mean? Like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, but then you never kind of see the end result a lot of the time, right?
You see
it's
the
like,
build-up.
what exactly are you doing? Like, what are you going toward?
It's a build-up. It's a build-up.
You know, and it's like, I wish that, it was a little bit easier for social media to work with, like, all right, here's the people that are just actually doing. People that actually have
Put
some
them
shit
on.
to show you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, no disrespect to anybody. Like, everybody enjoys behind the scenes stuff and like this, that, or the other. And again, I do it a little bit myself as well. But yeah, like it just seems like if you're just creating your art and putting it out there, not many people are going to see it, which is why talent is not a big factor anymore.
Booyah.
Like, talent's everywhere. How are you going to get motherfuckers to see this shit?
Hard work.
And that's why I you know, 6ix9ine is obviously a big clown, Tekashi 6ix9ine, but I have to credit him for having not a whole lot of talent, but incredibly good at putting himself out there and getting himself seen. So it's like, you got to somehow balance the talent and the Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You got to have some Tekashi 6ix9ine.
You got to.
You can't just have talent. But when I say you got to have some Tekashi 6ix9ine, I don't mean be fake and put on a show. I mean, you got to be able to put yourself out there in a way that you know people are going to go, hey, did you see what this motherfucker's did? Yeah. And that's what worked for him. You know what I mean? Everybody heard about 6ix9ine from a friend. You know? There
you go. From a standpoint, I was a viewer that was like, man, I think this guy's mastered controversy.
Yeah.
He knows exactly where to put himself and where viewers are going to just line up to watch it, check it, watch it, check it, because he's right in the heat of where it seems a lot of eyes are focused on.
Yeah. It's about pulling people into the present moment.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that I've learned from Kanye is like, you know, it's the feeling of it being your birthday or the feeling of opening presents on Christmas. Like that shit pulls you into the present moment.
Yes, it does.
Nah, this is what's going on
right this second.
When I see it that Kanye West tweeted, I am dropping everything and I'm seeing what the fuck this guy just said
to say to me,
right now, and he's pulling me into the present moment. Like what's going on? So that is and that's what 6ix9ine was great at too. It's just like you see a 6ix9ine notification, you're like, what's he doing now? Because it's like, you know that he's going to pull you into something that's going on now.
Oh, man.
And now you're a part of a conversation between other people that are watching the same thing or witnessing the same thing, right?
Big time.
So that's the part of it that I think that us in Niagara, we got to cultivate our Tekashi 6ix9ine side a little bit.
Yes.
And that's what I love about what's going on with Culture Shock.
Yes.
Because I think you guys are kind of putting out a lot of stuff where people will go, holy fuck, you see this? Like, look at this.
Did you not know?
Look at this Welland Dash shit right here. Look at this Port Erie shit. You know? So it's like, I feel like we got all the talent. We just got to cultivate that. Like, how do we put ourselves out there? Not necessarily in a controversial way, but in a way where people will be like, yo, you got to see what's going on here.
Be happy to share your neighbor's music because your neighbor's probably going to share your music. Be happy to put your neighbor on because your neighbor's going to put you on. And I think I heard Denzel say this. Denzel said, don't ever be afraid to put someone ahead of you. You've now set yourself up for that person to put you ahead of them.
That's brilliant.
It's major. And don't be afraid to share, man.
And any, like, you know, it's become so obvious to me again over the years of kind of being an artist thing is like, you know, fuck, what was I going to say? God damn it. It was a good point too. What did you just say?
I was saying Denzel lets you know, like, don't be afraid to put someone ahead of you, right?
Yes, that was perfect. Yeah. So what I was going to say is like, any inclination to do the opposite, like any inclination to look at what somebody else is doing and be like, nah, fuck that. That's shit. That's like, I'm not going to share that. I'm not like, that is your insecurity.
Bang.
Because I don't give a fuck how bad what somebody does is. Like if I honestly believe what someone does is trash, I may not be like, hey, everybody check this out. I think this guy's like the truth or whatever. Exactly. I'll still share it. I'll still support it. I'll still hit like.
That's his music or her music.
Why, like, what would possess somebody to like put somebody else down other than insecurity, right? Because you obviously don't feel like you can do better.
Damn.
Why would you need to put somebody else down if you felt like, well, what does it matter with? Like, if I'm not threatened by somebody who I don't think is doing like great or whatever, but it's like I will still support them. You know, I don't need to diss them.
Nope.
Be like fuck, this guy is trash. Like, what is that all about? Like, I might have been trash at one point in my making music, and had somebody said this guy's fucking trash and I stopped, I'd never be where I am now.
There you go.
So it's like, somebody might not be good now, but you supporting them, you liking them, you giving them a share might encourage them to keep going, and then they'll get better.
Exactly, because we, as individual, I think I'm the nicest.
You have to.
In his craft, he thinks he's the nicest.
You have to.
And the next person out there thinks they're the nicest. So they come to you and they say, hey, man, could you help me exploit this? Help me share this. And the first thing, like you said, is a negative thought comes to your mind. And you don't want to share that music. And not realizing that the universe is connected. That could be someone that is going to big you up. But you took the left lane.
Exactly.
And decided, I'm not going to share that.
Blows up, they ain't going to share.
And you're just standing there, deer lights, deer in a headlight, like, my 5 minutes of fame just rode past me, and I did not
swallow my pride.
There you go.
And it's like I just feel like there's so much value, and that kind of brings back to the point I was starting to make about Atlanta earlier. Is like they propped each other up.
Yes.
And they created that scene by propping each other up. Oh, you make good beats, throw my homie so-and-so on your beat. Now he's going to be on your mixtape. Now they all featured on each other's shit. They all got signed to each other's labels. Next thing you know, Atlanta is the new mecca of fucking hip-hop.
Bang. They just build and build and build and build and keep building each other up.
Out of love and Toronto, despite the fact that the Toronto scene has sort of had its issues with rival crews, being violent toward each other and whatnot, that's still a scene that kind of, mind you, it was a different story because we had one absolute super mega star in Drake come out on the scene and take over the entire world.
Props to Drake.
Naturally, some people are going to start looking toward Toronto, so they didn't necessarily have to, but they did kind of collaborate and build each other up underneath Drake and build its own little scene, right? Without having to rely on Drake.
Even though he said that statement, they're still Cardinal official.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's still
Cardi.
Shouts out to Cardi for sure.
The first Cardi, not Cardi B, not Playboy Cardi. Cardi.
Cardinal official.
Cardinal,
right? So even though, Drake has come in the time he has, still relevant. Guys, yeah. I think he's been putting out music a decade now, maybe longer.
Yeah.
Right? Still killing it. Yeah. So, shouts out to who have blown up Toronto, because it wasn't just him. There are others. We're just not saying their names.
Yeah, neither is the rest of the world, unfortunately.
We're just not saying their names.
Yeah. And they managed to build a little scene independent of Drake just by the talent within the city supporting each other and featuring on each other's songs, this, that, or the other. Why Niagara has been unable to see this so far and do this is beyond me. I think there's clashes in style for sure.
Yep.
Which is why, what, as I was saying earlier, the collab between myself and ITM, I think, is like a big stepping stone of like, styles may clash, but that's music. That's hip-hop.
Music.
Hip-hop is supposed to be about fusing different styles together and creating something new. So it's like, to me, Lemonade Renegade, there's not much else out there like it. I kind of have to do a new school flow on it, but it's fucking more of a boom bappy kind of beat. But I still got the lyrics.
It pulls you in. It's got a chill vibe.
So
halfway through the song, I started thinking of rhymes myself in my head because I was like, okay, this song pulls me in. I like that.
Right. Whereas I could have had an attitude and been like, oh, scratches on a record, boom bap, typical samples, this, that, and been a fucking typical young cat who wants to just go over his fucking 808s and this, that, not that I'm that young. I'm not trying to say I'm super young. I'm 30. But
looks like he's 20.
Thank you. But I still could have had some attitude and been like, nah, I can't rap over none of these beats. But I am always excited when ITM sends me a beat because it's going to give me an opportunity to rap over something different.
Exactly.
And then eventually something's going to click. And on that song, like, we got lucky and it clicked.
The beauty of creation.
So if you are not willing to look at the other people on the scene in the city, in the region, and say, how can what I'm doing merge with what that guy's doing? What kind of a beat would we both sound good on?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? These are the types of things that I love exploring. It's like, can I get like more of an old school lyrical boom bap rapper to come rap on this trap beat with me, because I know he'd fucking kill it if he gave it a chance. You know? So it's like it goes the same way the other way. Like, there's no reason why we can't be bridging all these stylistic differences instead of being like, oh, you're new school, that new shit is trash, you're mumble rapping. Oh, you're old school, that shit is boring. You
Open that door. Open that door.
Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
We can merge all of this and
open that door.
A style that is true to Niagara and unique to Niagara, you know? And
open that door, man.
We're starting to sort of, you know, let those spider webs come out.
Absolutely. Spread the wings.
Yeah.
Let out the thoughts. Work more with each other. Be proud of each other. And you never know, man.
Why not? Right?
We've been saying it for years. The sky is the limit, but you can go past that. That's reality.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Woo! It's such a blessing to be on here.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you invited me out.
Yeah.
Not only is it my first type of, honestly, moment like this, right? Other than, you know, what we did with you last week. Yeah, I've just been cultivating here, but I haven't been on a talk show in a minute.
Here we go, man. Well, this is why. It's like, it's kind of why I'm doing this. Is like, am I going to sit around and wait for somebody to invite me, the rapper, onto their show to be interviewed and broadcast? I actually went to school for broadcasting.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so after high school, I did 3 years broadcasting at Niagara College, which I never really used other than the microphone stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the audio stuff. Like, a lot of what I do with my music, I learned from radio school, from broadcasting school, and television school, right? So I used it in that way. But I was like, hold on a sec. I don't need to wait for somebody with a broadcasting degree who's went and made his own show to invite me on. I'm going to just make my own show, and I'll invite other rappers on, other artists on, and we can just both talk about whatever projects we're doing. It doesn't have to be this, like, journalist interviews rapper, or like, no, like, we can just both talk about whatever the fuck we got going on.
You've got a gift, and he's sharing it. You know, brought me onto the show.
I'm trying to bring others on as well, and I'm going to definitely come on your show. So you let me know as soon as we can do that. I would love to. So where is your show going to be? Like, where are people going to be able to find it? And when?
The beauty of it is we're putting on at the Upper Space.
Okay. Which
is on Montrose Road, right by the highway there, in front of the old school apartments that I used to live in way back in like 95, right? So it's funny that it's there now, and I look across the street like I used to live in those apartments.
Wow.
Right off the highway on Montrose Road, Upper Space. We're doing our thing there.
God damn.
Promoting them. There's a lot going on in that building.
Really?
For people who are looking for, it's about to blow up. That place is about to blow up. The Upper Space.
Shouts out to the Upper Space.
Shouts out to the Upper Space, for real. Shouts out to Scott, the owner. Shouts out to Christy. You know, people that I'm talking to within the building that are doing great things and trying to, you know, promote what Niagara has been always.
Yes.
Great.
Absolutely. Diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
That's the fucking theme of the episode, man. Diamonds in the rough. Well, that's great. I'd love to come check that place out. Obviously, whenever you can have me on the show, I'll definitely come through and check out what they got going there. It's a great name, too, the Upper Space. You know what I'm saying? If I can just wait.
Right? It's good. waiting to just splash.
Yeah, absolutely. So will there be like an online component? Like, will it be on YouTube or like?
Yes.
Or is it strictly live?
It is both.
Okay.
Right. The team wants to put it out that way. Live. You know, there's maybe a minor edits because I just want the rawness to be shown.
Right.
I want the camaraderie there, the charm, that person and who they are, right? When you edit it, you might not see it.
Right.
But if they just naturally, like yourself, what we're doing, then you get to see that person.
Yeah.
who they are, what they stand for. You can see it in just how they talk, right? When it edits now, that's kind of like
edits is like cookie cuttering.
I don't want cookie cuttering.
Yeah, here's what is supposed to be presented. Yeah. It's like I think people do really want to just see the raw shit now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like don't be dressing it up for me. You know what I mean? It's like
I don't need the salad dressing on this one.
Because we've been duped by too many people with flashy lights and fucking, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like that end up being fucking weirdos, you know, or end up being rapists, or end up being this, that, or the other. I think people just want to get to know the raw person.
Let me see the real.
Let me make my own fucking judgment here. Right? I don't need you telling me who's my hero and who's not my hero.
Right.
Let me just see it raw, and I'll fucking decide, you know. So the more shows and interview shows that are going that route. And probably a big part thanks to Joe Rogan for kind of like making that long form thing as mainstream and big as it is, because I think it really does show that this is what people want to see. They want to really get to know the actual person.
Shout outs to Joe Rogan.
Yeah, shouts out JRE.
Like,
I'd like to again point out, as I do every time Joe Rogan gets brought up, that I started this podcast before Joe Rogan got the $100 million.
Hey.
So, hey, we ahead of the game here.
Just so you know.
So if anyone wants to come give me like even a fraction.
Take a quarter of that.
Fraction of that. It doesn't even have a fraction of a quarter. I'll fucking
there you go. 125 sounds good.
Yeah, give some to LG as well for the LG show. But yeah, man, I think we're pretty much good. Let the people know where they can find you, where they can follow you, social media wise, and everything you're doing, because I think that you got a lot of good stuff for people to get motivated by.
Absolutely. You can see mostly what I represent through Culture Shock. You can see me on Instagram, Lonsley G at Instagram. I also have a TV show that will be presented through Culture Shock, Lonsley G Show. And there's just a lot of beautiful things coming, man. We just want to show Niagara what it already knows, or maybe it doesn't.
And we're going to show the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, big ups to you, my man.
Thank you.
I see the vision. I appreciate you.
Thank you,
we're
man.
Gonna keep working. We're going to make this shit happen.
Yes.
And I think we got the same motherfucking idea, man.
Straight up.
Let's get it. Thank you, everybody.
To take a plane to another plane, to another plane, to another plane, bumping Baka not nice while I'm trapping in the rain.